welcome to Grab A Cuppa. My name is Kat Wright. I had a lovely guest here at Grab A Cuppa, and it was the wonderful Jas Morris from the rock band Firekind. We had such an amazing chat, talked about all sorts. We talked about music, daily life, grief, and what the future holds for Firekind and for himself personally and professionally. So this is Grab A Cuppa with Jas Morris from Firekind.
Hello!
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me, Kat.
Oh yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm Kat. You probably know me. Ish. I do radio shows for Feedback Radio at the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yes. I'm new to this podcasting business. I am just interested in people, and I'm interested in you as a person.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kat, you look very vibrant for this early in the morning.
It's the light.
No, I'm sure you look naturally vibrant.
It's the fake light, because I just like came out of bed and just put some slap on, and that's me.
Oh, you look great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and you, are you having anything?
I'm on water that looks like it's vodka, but it's actually water.
I won't judge. I will not judge. I always ask this to everyone. It doesn't matter who they are. Who are you, and what do you do?
So I'm a guitarist and vocalist, and I've been a gigging musician straight out of school, to be honest.
Wow.
So
that far back then,
I was still in school when I started. Yeah,
wow.
yeah, years ago. But it's a good school which had a good music program
Wow.
there. They had rehearsal rooms, so every lunch break I'd go with some friends into the rehearsal rooms and just jam away on my guitars, and then be like, oh no, I need to get the lesson. But it's always been a major part of my life, to be honest, and and being in a band is just like a normal thing.
It's just been a normal. Have you ever had like your standard 9-to-5 job before?
No, not really. I worked in a guitar shop for a little bit, so that's again very related to music.
To music. So that's always been your passion then?
Yeah.
I could tell by the way you are talking about it, just the way you're... you can see when someone's so passionate about what they do, they just have a little twinkle in their eyes, isn't it? And I can see that when you are talking about it.
Yeah.
That is super fun.
I never went to university or anything. Part of me wish I did for the experience of the uni experience, but straight into the gigging scene, and I think now during this lockdown period is almost quite possibly the longest time I've not gigged since
ever.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Oh wow! How was school for you growing up? How was like that for you?
To be honest, I was quite quiet in school. So again, being quite a quiet child and not willing to express myself as growing up, then comes along music and gives you that sort of outlet to be able to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I, for myself, I was a very anxious kid, and still, to be fair, as a grown up, I still am. But music for me always been a passion of mine, and radio broadcasting. But it's always been something that I've only started doing it only since April. And my life just got to a point where when lockdown began, I was like, what am I doing with my life? I need to follow my dreams, because we just don't know what's going to happen. Are we still going to be here in 3 months? Do you know what I mean? What's going to happen? Now, is Dan your brother?
Dan's my brother, yeah.
Were you the, what is it called? Morris Brothers Band?
Yeah, that's it.
How did that come about?
So, when I was still in school, the head of the studio was part of a committee which set up a music festival in Newton Abbot called Air Fusion. It ran for like three or 4 years. Awesome little festival in by the train station in Newton Abbot. And so he was like, I've got a spare slot, the first slot on the Saturday morning. Have you got a band? Do you want it? And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And I didn't have a band at the time. Then I went home. Obviously, lived with my dad and Dan, my brother, and our dad was a musician, so that was always been in the family. And he was like, "Why don't we just set a band up?" And we set one up in. I think we had like 4 weeks' notice. So
wow.
And our old man called up, some drummer friend, hey Gaz, are you free to do this little project we're doing? And then a few weeks later, whacked together a little set, and then the rest is history. To be honest, so I was hooked. Dan was hooked, and
then you've been in the band since. So you had the Morris Brothers band.
Yeah.
And did you guys release anything? I think I've seen something. They've released a few EPs, didn't you?
As the Morris Brothers band, we released like four or five albums.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So enough to make like a compilation album. So,
did you do some greatest hits?
we didn't want to call it greatest hits because maybe there wasn't any greatest hits on there, but we just call it like the final boot.
Final boot.
As in like a bootleg. It's.
Have you always been close to your brother?
Back in the old days when they had.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I get that. I am old enough to understand that, to be fair. Were you and Dan always very close?
Yes, yeah, to be honest, always been in the same band. And, it gets to the point now we're at a gig and I know what he's doing and he knows what I'm doing, or just one little glance.
So do you have that sort of like telepathic, like, oh, I know what you're thinking. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. When I make a little mistake, no one else notices it.
And you just go like, I knew you were doing that. We've done that for. It's just that look, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just that connection between family, isn't it? Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's
yeah. How did like Firekind start then? How did you meet Rob?
So we've always known Robin. The local music scene down here, and it came to we had a gig, and our normal drummer couldn't make it, so we were like, "Can you depth for this gig?" And we did a couple rehearsals, got him up to speed on the set, and then it was like another year or two before he joined, because we still had the original drummer, and then the rest is history, really. And it's been with us now on a permanent basis for a couple of years, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. I don't know. Years just pass so fast these days.
Absolutely. I mean, I was just looking on YouTube because I wanted to basically know a little bit more about your music. It's like, I don't know. Honestly, so many bands contact me on a daily basis, and it's pretty good to sort of like listen to this. And I've listened to music like almost constantly. I don't mind it. I love it. But what makes Firekind different than any other band out there, any rock band out there?
Being an original band is always a really difficult thing. So I think maybe there is never full-on original bands, but you take your favourite bands, chuck it all in a bucket, mix it up, and you pull out bits that you like and just put that together. So I think if you listen to any big band or any band you like, that you're always going to hear elements of other bands which you like.
Yeah.
And I think our sort of mix may be unique in that way, but then every band is going to be unique to an element.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's down to the personality, because
Yeah.
obviously we are all different, aren't we? We all have different personalities. So it comes to the band members as well, you know, and the personality that
Yeah.
transpires the music they write. Were you a covers band before you started writing your music? Let's start
Yeah.
writing your
So
songs.
we've always been writing music, so it's always been a major thread, you know, going through. But just in order to get our like apprenticeship, you have to just get out and gig as much as possible, and being an original band right from the start, it's hard to get that amount of gigs. So we along with the original side of things, we decided to, you know, get a bit of a cover set as well, and some old prog rock classic stuff, and yeah, we started gigging maybe 2-3 times every week.
A lot of AC/DC.
Yeah, can't think of AC/DC.
The Darkness as well. I kind of like that cover.
Oh yeah, when that album came out, I remember, you know, it's coming back.
They've released new stuff, and it's a little bit different. It's less like jokey. It's just more like a proper rock band, if that's fair to say. But yeah, they are really good live, and I was very surprised. Very surprised. I always saw them more as a parody band rather than you know, a band that would write serious songs.
Yeah.
So when Firekind, when it comes to songwriting, is there like someone in charge of that, or is it like a contribution between you guys? Like everyone does their bit.
So there's two ways that we normally do it. The first way is probably me. This is my studio, so I spend hours and hours in here, just playing away on, and especially during lockdown, recording my ideas on Logic Pro.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dropboxing it to the other guys, and then they can listen to it and, you know, maybe add ideas to it that way. And the other idea is that you go to rehearsal and you're jamming away. And then eventually you come up with a cool riff or something, and you're like, oh, that's good, and you work on it, and it molds into something new. Also during gigs, actually, I much prefer to not end the song and then have a silence. I like to keep like a
keep it going.
Yeah, like a good DJ would. He wouldn't stop a song every song, would he? It would just.
No one likes dead air. It's what we call it. We call it dead air because then it's just that awkward silence. Like, what's going to happen next? Is this over? No, it's not over, but it feels like it's over, and then people get very confused. So no dead air. No, I don't like that. But then, you know, when you're writing your songs and stuff, is there like, what do you use for inspiration, or is it just like your day-to-day life that inspires the songs that you write?
Yeah, I mean, I love to read. I read quite a lot, so that forms just ways of thinking and stuff, and that forms quite a good bit of inspiration, and also, you know, traveling around the country with gigs. You know, an adventure every weekend, and that's one of the major things I'm missing right now. You know, being on the lockdown, I'm not getting that sort of adventure every weekend. So, you know, trying to figure out other ways, just going on long walks and.
Yeah, I understand that. What were you doing like before they just said, no, you have to go home, you have to stay home? What were you doing then, just before lockdown? We
were literally in France on a couple-week tour, and we had one gig left, and and then suddenly we heard rumours, and our agent was like, yeah, I think they're going to start limiting the size of the venues, and we're like, well, even if there's just 100 people, we can still do the gig. And then rapidly it was like within 24 hours it went, you know, full on shutdown, and we just we were in the south of France, you know,